Battle of Kapyong, also known as the Battle of Japing, was fought in 1951 during the Korean War between China and United Nations, Canadian, and Australian troops. The Chinese attacked through the Kapyong Yali, the traditional invasion route to Seoul, and a potential route to surround U.S. forces in Korea. Two Chinese divisions of 20,000 soldiers assaulted the UN defense, consisting of 2 battalions of 700 soldiers each. The Australian 3 RAR on Hill 504 were supported by 15 U.S. Sherman tanks, the Canadian 2 Cly on Hill 677. After a fierce firefight, the Australians and U.S. tanks retreated from the battlefield and were no longer engaged in the battle. The Chinese encircled the Canadians, preventing any support or ammunition from entering. Lieutenant Colonel Stone ordered his battalion, "No retreat, no surrender." In an overnight battle, the Chinese launched mass assaults on Hill 677. The Canadians eventually exhausted their ammunition, and on 3 occasions called in long-distance artillery barrages directly onto their own positions, now overrun by Chinese soldiers, to break up the attacks. The Chinese withdrew with enormous casualties, declining further assaults against the Canadians, who were now depleted of ammunition. The UN forces ultimately prevailed, albeit through a last stand by the 2 Cly, despite being outnumbered on the field of battle by a factor of 10 to 1. Total UN casualties in the Battle of Kapyong were 59 killed and more than 111 wounded. In contrast, the Chinese People's Volunteer Army losses were far heavier, and may have included 1,000 to 5,000 killed and many more wounded. There were no Canadian or Chinese soldiers reported as surrendering or being taken captive, only fighting to the end.